morning and a very warm welcome. You're watching the Breakfast Rundown on TV1. I'm Therunee Karunaratne. As always, we're coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. This morning's edition of the Breakfast Rundown, we will be starting off with some headline-making international news items. France's Prime Minister François Bayrou has lost a confidence vote in Parliament hours after warning that the country was facing life-threatening debt, deepening a political crisis and handing President Emmanuel Macron the task of finding a fifth Prime Minister in less than 2 years. The defeat by 364 votes to 194 means that Bayrou, who has been in office for 9 months, will today present his government's resignation to President Emmanuel Macron, who must now decide how to replace him. Macron's office said this would happen in the coming days. The options include naming a new prime minister from the centre-right, pivoting to the left and finding a name compatible with the Socialist Party and dissolving parliament so new elections are held. Now, the National Assembly voted on Monday to bring down the Bayrou-led government over its plans to cut about 44 billion euros to reduce the country's debt. Bayrou had staked his leadership on securing parliamentary approval for a budget plan that aimed to slash a deficit almost double the European Union's 3% ceiling and a debt load worth 114% of the GDP. The 74-year-old leader is the sixth prime minister under President Macron since the head of state was first elected in 2017. His ousting would leave Macron with a new domestic headache at a time when he is leading diplomatic efforts on the Ukraine war. In his speech beforehand, Bayrou made clear that he had eyes set on more history rather than on politics, telling MPs that it was future generations who would suffer if France lost its financial independence. He said that submission to debt is the same as submission to arms, warning that current debt levels meant plunging young people into slavery. He added, and I quote, "You may have the power to bring down the government, but you cannot efface reality," unquote. Meanwhile, Macron's bitter enemies in the far left France Unbowed party are calling for him to personally resign, but few commentators think it likely. France is thus on its way to getting a fifth prime minister in less than 2 years, a dismal record that underscores the drift and disenchantment that have marked the president's second term. Well, shifting attention to Nepal this morning, after violent protests in Kathmandu and other parts of the country's young citizens led to the death of at least 19 protesters, the Nepal government has lifted a ban on 26 social media and communication apps. These apps included Facebook, YouTube and X, formerly known as Twitter. Through the day, Nepal police fired rubber bullets, tear gas and water cannons to disperse demonstrators who demanded that the government should focus on tackling corruption. Amid the unrest, the country's Home Minister Ramesh Lekhak resigned. Visuals of the protests showed thousands of people pushing through barbed wire, forcing riot police to retreat as they surrounded the parliament building. Waving national flags, the crowd chanted, "Stop the ban on social media, stop corruption, not social media." Monday's rally was called the protest of Gen Z, generally referring to people born between 1995 and 2010. The army has been deployed in the Nepali capital following the imposition of a curfew in the area. The move to ban the 26 apps, effective September 4th, by the authorities came as the government sent a bill for a debate in Parliament that wants to ensure that social platforms are properly managed, responsible and accountable. The bill has been widely criticized as a tool for censorship and punishing government opponents who voice their protests online. Coming up next is your sports news for this morning. The 2025 Asia Cup T20 tournament is set to commence today at the Sheikh Zayed International Cricket Stadium in Abu Dhabi. The official local broadcasting rights for this highly anticipated tournament are held by TV1 of the Sirasa Media Network, ensuring that fans in Sri Lanka can catch all the action live. This marks the third edition of the tournament in the T20 format. The 2025 Asia Cup T20 tournament is set to kick off in the United Arab Emirates with 8 teams vying for the coveted trophy. They are Sri Lanka, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, the United Arab Emirates, Oman and Hong Kong. In the group stage, the teams will compete under 2 groups, A and B. India, Oman, Pakistan and the UAE are placed in Group A. Sri Lanka is in Group B alongside Afghanistan, Hong Kong and Bangladesh. Former Sri Lanka star and current head coach Sanat Jayasuriya holds the record as the highest run scorer in Asia Cup history. The record for the highest wicket taker belongs to former Sri Lanka pace ace Lasith Malinga. With 8 titles, India remains the most successful team in Asia Cup history. Sri Lanka has won the tournament 6 times, most recently in 2022 under the captaincy of Dasun Shanaka. Sri Lanka will play its first match of this tournament against Bangladesh on the 13th in Abu Dhabi. They will then face Hong Kong on the 15th and Afghanistan on the 18th in the group stage. The tournament kicks off today with the opening match between Afghanistan and Hong Kong scheduled to begin at 8 p.m. Sri Lankan time. All these matches will be broadcast live on TV1 of the Sirasa Media Network, the official local broadcaster of the Asia Cup. And we are ready to bring to you all these matches from the Stein Studios in Rotmalana, equipped with modern technological systems and international match analysis expertise. With that, let's move on to more local news this morning. Sri Lanka Customs has launched an investigation into how 2 containers carrying chemicals suspected to be used in the production of the drug ice or methamphetamine were released from the Colombo port. According to the police, the containers were cleared on the 27th of January and later transported to Midania on the 29th of January. A customs spokesperson said the department will issue a detailed statement to the media in the coming days. Meanwhile, the Criminal Investigation Department has also opened a separate probe into the release of these containers. Meanwhile, police discovered over 100 kilograms of suspected chemicals used in ice production at a house and a nearby marshland in Kandana. Samples have been sent to the government analyst to confirm their composition. The raid was carried out by the police and the Special Task Force following information obtained from 2 close associates of underworld figure Panudura Nilanga, who was arrested in Indonesia and extradited to Sri Lanka. The house where the chemicals were found had been rented about a month ago by a resident of Matakulia named Krishna. Earlier, a massive stock of nearly 50,000 kilograms of chemicals believed to be used for methamphetamine production was unearthed from a land in Midania. Tests conducted by the National Dangerous Drugs Control Board have already confirmed that some of these samples indeed contained ice. Another similar consignment of chemicals were later discovered from Netolpitia. According to the police, the chemical stocks uncovered in Midania, Netolpitia and Kandana are linked to 3 individuals arrested in Indonesia and brought back to Sri Lanka: Kehilbadra Padme, Bako Saman and Panudura Nilanga. In connection with the Midania case, police arrested P.R. Senadira, a former Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna member of the Anguna Kunapalassa Pradeshiya Sabha. Investigators revealed that the land where the chemicals were found belongs to his brother, Sampath Manamperi. Now, the Parliament is scheduled to convene today at 9:30 a.m. under the patronage of Speaker Dr. Jagat Vikramaratne. A key item on today's agenda will be the approval of the agreement signed between Sri Lanka and the United Arab Emirates. A vote on the proposal is scheduled to take place at 5 p.m. today. In addition, the second readings of several important bills are expected to take place today: the Penal Code Amendment Bill, the bill to remove presidential immunity and the National Building Research Organisation bill. Parliament sittings will continue from today until Friday. Let's move on to more local news. Passenger buses operating over 100 kilometers will now undergo daily inspections. Chairman of the National Transport Commission, Engineer P.A. Chandrapala, said that the decision was discussed during a meeting held last night under the patronage of Minister of Transport, Bimal Ratnayaka. He said that the meeting was also attended by key stakeholders in the transport sector and that the matter was discussed at length during the meeting. He added that accordingly, the Department of Motor Traffic and National Transport Commission will formulate a program covering all the provinces in the country. Meanwhile, train operations on the Kalani Valley railway line remain restricted following a derailment near Puakpitia, Avisabel. The incident occurred at around 7:05 p.m. yesterday when a train derailed after colliding with a small lorry that had been parked near the tracks. The lorry's assistant sustained minor injuries and was admitted to the hospital. The derailment caused significant damage to the railway line in the area. Repair and restoration activities are currently underway. According to the railway control room, train services on the Kalani Valley line are currently operating only up to Koskama. The United States and Sri Lanka officially launched Pacific Angel 25 at the Karunaratne Air Base, with U.S. Defense Attaché Lieutenant Colonel Matthew House joining Sri Lanka Air Force leaders to open this exercise. The 5-day multilateral program, running from the 8th to the 12th of September, brings together nearly 90 U.S. and 120 Sri Lanka Air Force personnel, along with participants and observers from Australia, Bangladesh, India, Japan and the Maldives, to strengthen disaster response and save lives. Training focuses on search and rescue, medical readiness, air safety and engineering cooperation. Supported by 2 US C-130J aircraft and Sri Lanka's Bell 412, B-212 helicopter and King Air 350, Pacific Angel 25 builds the teamwork and trust needed for faster, stronger responses to real-world crises. And finally, onto your weather forecast for today. The Met Department says that showers or thunder showers will occur in most parts of the island after 1 p.m. today. Heavy falls of about 100 millimeters are likely at some places. A few showers may occur in the Western Province and in the Galle and Mathura districts. And as always, the general public is requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. Well, that brings to a close this morning's edition of the Breakfast Rundown on TV1. Thank you for joining us this morning. Do join us tomorrow as well, same time, same place, for more of the very latest from here at home and around the world. Take care. Have a wonderful day ahead.